The stakeholders. Stakeholders, be they customers, employees, suppliers, shareholders, etc., are present in every episode of our web series. As explained in the episode on the nature of the business model, they all participate in the emergence of the shared representation of the business. Entrepreneurship is fundamentally a partnership act calling for win-win relationships between stakeholders exchanging resources that hold value for each project. Stakeholders are so named because they are parties having stakes in the business. At the start of the project, they are owners of resources remaining to be convinced. Through their requirements, they influence the success of the project on various levels. At least 5 points should be considered when designing and managing a business network. Resources necessary or helpful to the project. One should start from the resources and then identify the stakeholders who can provide them. When several can provide the same resource, it is necessary to decide who to work with, justify this choice, and convince the partner to enter into a business relationship. Meeting with these stakeholders helps build the shared representation and the list of useful resources for the emergence of the business model. The expectations of potential or actual stakeholders. A first way to prepare a negotiation with a partner is to anticipate his or her expectations, striving to adopt his viewpoint. When the entrepreneur is a business novice, it is through conversation that he identifies what the potential partner wants and understands that value is relative to each party. It is sometimes after an unsuccessful negotiation that he learns it. The contribution of stakeholders. The choice of a partner is justified above all by what he or she provides. That is to say, the value of the resource he or she provides. Although aiming for a balance in the exchange of value, the entrepreneur sometimes has to deal with stakeholders who are difficult to avoid. Political games are inevitable. The power of stakeholders. Since they own the resources, stakeholders hold power. Some of them use that power to tip the scales in the exchange of value. Others use it in the social sphere, including the business sector. Considering this, the entrepreneur needs to clearly identify business networks and integrate them. He will thus be able to differentiate the useful or necessary partners in the launch of the activity and/or the survival of the organization from those with less influence. The attitude of stakeholders. Even if all efforts of anticipation are laudable, only the relationship itself can reveal the actual attitude of a stakeholder. Whenever it is possible, a contract recalls the commitments of each party. However, it is important to understand that any social sphere has potential conflicts, particularly when it comes to business. Trust and reliability in the relationships are then also involved in the choice of partners. For these 5 points, it is recommended to make a chart with at least 5 columns, to which may be added the contact details of partners identified or met. In addition, a mapping of the stakeholders may be designed to visualize the structure of the network. Both tools may serve as useful dashboards to monitor the business network. The competing parties should not be forgotten when building the network. They attempt to capture the resources that the company needs. For example, they try to attract customers towards their offer. Another form of competition occurs when stakeholders, although operating in different markets, covet the same resources, being at a location, an employee, etc. However, competitors are not necessarily enemies. Under certain circumstances, they may even become partners. For example, in the defense of a common object, such as the product of designated origin or a particular expertise. An alliance with a competitor can also help in undertaking a project when it is impossible to do it alone. For example, responding to a call for tenders or exploiting a new territory. In the end, any business network is subject to competitive games. Each player tries to attract the best resources towards him or her, that is to say, the best stakeholders, at least from his or her point of view.